Hello, classmates. Welcome to this week's post. I am broadcasting from the back of a pickup truck as I have covered more than 1,500 miles on my way back to participate as a groomsman at a very good friend of mine's wedding. So this is about the best I can have for accommodations while I am broadcasting. This week, I really started to understand why I did so poorly on the introduction test that we took at the beginning of the class, or the quiz. I was looking at Billy Graham. Only Billy Graham that I knew of was the superstar Billy Graham from the WWF back in the late 1980s. So this was a very enlightening week for me. One of the individuals I was also not familiar with that I want to speak about this week was Harry Emerson Fosdick. He was a preacher with almost unequaled popularity for his generation. He was a driving force behind the fundamentalist modernist debate. He was an evangelical, self-proclaimed liberal pacifist. While he was a professor at the Union Theological Seminary, he took a leave of absence at one point and even traveled to World War I with the YMCA, and he firsthand saw the horrors of war and just how difficult it was for the troops serving on the front lines there. It's further ingrained as ideals of pacifism in with Mr. Fosdick. So he had a variety of things that he had published and controversial statements that really shook mainstream Christianity, the most prominent of which took place on May 22nd, 1922. While he was a pastor at First Presbyterian Church in New York City, he had the sermon that was entitled, "Shall the Fundamentalist Win?" This was really looking and saying Christianity did not need the intolerance of the fundamentalists, as Noel put it, but rather the tolerance of diverse belief practices by enlightened modernists. This, of course, spawned a massive controversy. This, along with other very controversial statements that Mr. Fosdick had released. Shortly thereafter, in September of 1922, he held a sermon that questioned the virgin birth, the Immaculate Conception. This was something that really, again, kicked up controversy and received a scathing editorial in the New York Herald by one of his peers in Reverend G.W. McPherson. What he had said was that he had questioned the virgin birth by saying that the two men who contributed most to the church's thought of divine meaning of I can't read this, were Paul and John, who never even distantly allude to the virgin birth. And I think I'm about right on time here. Okay.